It's week 5. Kickoff is just around the corner. Who's going to play? More importantly, who should you play? Well, we'll let you know right now in this Sunday Morning Quickie. Welcome on into another edition of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Furley, and this is episode 171, a Week 5 Sunday Morning Quickie. In this show, we will see who's in and who's out for week number 5. We'll review our show's starts of the week. We'll let you in on the players to watch in our Wingman Jam contest, and we'll let you know the best way to get the most updated news to help you set your fantasy football lineups. But before we do any of that, I want to make sure that everybody is in the room.
Wingmen assemble!
All right, guys, let's see who's in and who's out, who's hurt and who's not in this week's Actives Inactives. All right, starting off with players who won't play this week because their teams are on bye. Don't forget, people, we finally have bye week starting in week number 5 here with the Atlanta Falcons, Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are all off this week. If you have Bijan Robinson or Josh Jacobs in your lineup, get them out. They're not playing today. All right, players that were placed on the IR later in the week. Trey Benson, Arizona running back, was placed on the IR. Means he's going to miss at least 4 games. However, reports are his injury is going to keep him out 4 to 6 weeks. If you need some desperation plays, we got Michael Carter and Bam Knight as your power down backs for the Arizona Cardinals, and Amari DiMercato is the passing down and 2-minute drill back for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm thinking the Bangers are going to have a better game today against the Titans, and DiMercato might be more valuable in week 6 going forward. All right, another player who's placed on the IR later in the week, New York Jets running back Braylon Allen was placed on the IR, and he is reported to miss 8 to 12 weeks. Joe Mixon started the season on the NFI list. He's missed the minimum games that he's had to miss before being eligible to return. However, there's no indications that Joe Mixon is coming back to the team anytime soon. We'll definitely keep our ears open here to have an idea of if anything changes, but at the moment, there is no hint that Mixon is coming back anytime soon. All right, Rashee Rice, Kansas City wide receiver, started the season with a 6-game suspension. 4 games are done. He only has 2 games left to sit, and that includes today, which means after next week's game, he will be eligible to return. Aaron Jones, Minnesota running back, was placed on the IR a couple weeks back. He still has 2 more games to miss before he's eligible to return. George Kittle was on the IR after week 1. Their game already played on Thursday night, which means he has missed the minimum games required before he is eligible to return. So George Kittle can return next week in week 6. However, reports are stating that he's more likely to return in week 7. His teammate Brandon Ayuk started the season on the PUP list, is not going to play today. He has begun to do individual drills, but reports are he won't be back for a few more weeks. Tyler Bass, Buffalo kicker, was not activated. A little surprising here, which means Matt Prater is going to get the kicking duties once again for the Buffalo Bills. Christian Watson is expected to be activated sooner than later off the PUP list, but with the Green Bay Packers being on a bye this week, there hasn't been any news from the Packers for the last 5 or 6 days. Now for some better news, Tyjae Spears was activated from the IR on Saturday. Activated. Tyjae Spears is still listed as questionable. However, reports indicate he is expected to play today. In the same vein, Taysom Hill, New Orleans quarterback / tight end, he was also activated. Activated. Taysom Hill, too, is listed as questionable, but he is also expected to play today. All right, now for players who are ruled out later in the week, we've got J.J. McCarthy, Minnesota quarterback, is not going to play today, making way for Carson Wentz to get his 3rd consecutive start. And Lamar Jackson is out today.
Oh, no.
Making way for Cooper Rush to make his first start of the season. This one's kind of big here, guys, in my opinion. Chuba Hubbard is not going to play today. Means Rico Dowdle is, depending on your league, potentially available out there. He's going to get the start, and they're playing the Miami Dolphins defense, who are getting gashed left and right in the running game. I'd pick up Dowdle. I'd actually play him today, obviously depending on your other options. Alec Pierce is still out for the Indianapolis Colts as he's dealing with a concussion, making way for Adonai Mitchell, maybe a redemption song today. Although reports are his role is going to be pulled back a little bit in favor for veteran Ashton Dolan. All right, CeeDee Lamb has been ruled out. He is not going to play, making George Pickens the number one once again for Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. And KaVintae Turpin, Dallas wide receiver, is also out today. Means it's pretty clear Jalen Tolbert's going to be the number 2. So we got Pickens, Tolbert, and Ferguson has a chance to have a little bit of a better day with all the receiver injuries. Bucky Irving, this one stinks. Bucky Irving is not going to play for the Bucs today. Rachaad White should get a healthy workload, and Sean Tucker should also be sprinkled in as an effective change of pace. Mike Evans, Tampa Bay wide receiver, he's also out once again with that hamstring injury, missing his 2nd consecutive game. And Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown, Commander wide receivers, are both out today. All right, now for some guys who are a little more in doubt one way or another whether they're going to play. Let's start with Tyrone Tracy. New York Giants running back is listed as doubtful, which means it's very, very unlikely that he is going to play today. Brock Bowers is listed as questionable. However, he did have a setback during the week, and reports are that he is not expected to play. Technically listed as questionable, not expected to play. They play in the later afternoon, so we're not going to have the exact word here until about 2:45 or so. But keep that in mind. If you want to play him, you've got to have a backup plan ready to go. Miles Sanders, Dallas running back, is also not a game time decision, and he's unlikely to play today. So Miles Sanders has a chance to play, but he's not likely to play. Jayden Blue is going to get on the field for his first game action of the season, and he may have a chance to show something. We'll see. There's probably a reason why he was a healthy scratch the last 4 weeks, but keep an eye on Jayden Blue. I'd put him on the back of your bench and at least see how this game goes to get ahead of the waiver wire. All right, Will Dissly, LA Chargers tight end, game time decision, 50-50, not a big-time fantasy player. On the other hand, Calvin Ridley, if you want to stick with him, he's been pretty dudful so far this year. He's a game-time decision as well, but he is likely to play. Calvin Ridley is likely to play, but double-check right before the start of that game. We already mentioned Tyjae Spears and Taysom Hill, both listed as questionable. Both were activated off the IR, both expected to play today. All right, now for some players who were on the injury report during the week. They have since been removed. They have no injury designation, and these players are going to play today. Starting off with Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay wide receiver, will be on the field. Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay quarterback, was dealing with a bicep injury and a knee injury, is off the injury report, and that dog is going to play. Xavier Legette, who missed the last 2 games, will be back on the field for the Carolina Panthers, And Jayden Daniels, Washington QB, is finally back after missing the last 2 games. Deebo Samuel, who missed all of practice this week, did travel with the team, is now no longer has an injury designation with a heel injury. Deebo Samuel will play today. And Michael Pittman, Indianapolis Colt wide receiver, popped up with an injury with a hamstring on Thursday. However, he has since been removed, and Michael Pittman is going to play today. All right, guys, let's let you in on our starts of the week.
Bring it in. Take a knee. Who wants in?
Oh, pick me! Oh, I know, me!
All right, son, don't let me down. You're in.
Wingman Fantasy Football starts of the week.
All right, my co-host Bernie's starts of the week this week, starting off at the quarterback position, is the rookie Jackson Dart up against the New Orleans Saints, who the Saints give up the 6th most points to the quarterback position. Jackson Dart is projected for 16.6 points. Bernie thinks he can beat that. At running back this week for Bernie, he's going to with Woody Marks. Woody Marks is playing against the Baltimore Ravens. They give up the most points to the running back position, and Woody Marks is starting to take over that backfield ahead of Nick Chubb. We'll definitely watch to see. But when we made this list here, 8.9 points was what Marks was projected for. He has a very good chance to beat that projection. And his wide receiver start of the week is Quentin Johnson for the LA Chargers up against the Washington Commanders, who give up the 9th most points to the wide receiver position. Quentin Johnson is projected for 11.3 points, and as long as he beats that by more than a half a point, it will be a successful start of the week for Mr. Bernie. All right, now it's time to let you in on my starts of the week for week number 5. Starting off with my quarterback, we're going with Jared Goff up against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals give up the 7th most points to the quarterback position, but we see when the Lions have a chance to blow out a team, they like to play with their food, and they keep the passing game going on. Jared Goff projected at 16.9 points, has a great chance to surpass that this week. Cam Scatterboo.
I'm a scat man.
Cam Scatterboo versus the New Orleans Saints, and the Saints give up the 7th most points, settling in at a 13.4 projection. Kind of high for Scatterboo, but just too fun. We got to take advantage of this play against the Saints. And my wide receiver start of the week is also an LA Charger, Ladd McConkey versus the Washington Commanders, who give up the 9th most points to the wide receiver position. McConkey's projected for 11 points. Has been a dud so far to start the year, but I'm hoping for this early round fantasy football draft choice to finally show up and get his breakout day of the season. All right, guys, it is now time to let you in on our Wingman Jam contest.
Wingman Fantasy Football.
Wingman Jam with Bernie the Bounty Hunter and Amazing Spidey. Boom shakalaka. Detroit Lions. Philadelphia Eagles. Time to get on the field and tackle.
All right, I am taking the Detroit Lions. I'm taking Jared Goff and Jameson Williams, a little bit of a dark horse there. And Bernie's taking the Eagles with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. All right, let's take a look at some of our audience members out there, what teams they might have picked. Austin F. is joining us once again, and he's going with the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, and George Pickens. I want to remind you guys that the Wingman Jam is open to everybody to join us here. Just pick your favorite NFL team and the best tandem from that team. Just leave a comment in this video or any other comments. I'll find it, and we'll put you in the Wingman Jam. The way it works is the team you get 1 point for showing up and playing with us, and you get a bonus point if you're in third. If you get third place in terms of highest fantasy points for that duo for the week, you get 2 bonus points for second place and 3 bonus points if you get first place for the week, which means if you have the highest fantasy tandem this week in the Wingman Jam, you get 4 points. We keep those points rolling together there, and after 3 weeks, the team with the most points earns themselves a seat in the Showcase Showdown in Week 7. We are in Phase 2. Andrew F. won the first phase, so he's got that first seat. So the winner of Phase 2 will meet Andrew F. in the Showcase Showdown in Week 7 for a heads-up battle. Well, the winner will earn some Wingman Fantasy Football swag. All right, guys, I want to thank you all so very much for joining me today. Before I leave, I want to let you in on a great tool to help you get the latest news to help you set your fantasy football lineups. If you just go over to wingmanfantasyfootball.com, if you go over there, guys, it's got everything you need to start your day. Right in the middle here, we have links that tiles that send you right to your fantasy football provider. It'll get you right into your league. On the left side, we've aggregated news over here. On the right side, we have the last 5 episodes of our podcast in audio form. Also on the right side, we have embedded Twitter feeds here, guys, from prominent reporters to help you get the latest news. But here's the biggest tool that will help you. Right in the middle of the page, the NFL inactives. They will pop up 90 minutes prior to kickoff. Keep in mind they are in alphabetical order, not chronological order. So once 11:40 comes through, this will populate with all the 1 o'clock games. So double check for those questionable and game time decisions. Thank you guys for joining me on that. I appreciate it. Once again, guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me for this Sunday morning quickie. Don't be a stranger. You can find our podcast on your favorite podcasting platforms. Just search Wingman the League and we'll come to the top of your search. If you find us on that podcast, please leave us a 5-star rating and a comment and let us know how we can get better. Also, we have our YouTube channel at wingmanfantasyfootball.com/YouTube. When you go over there, guys, do me the favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when we get the news out For those who are just joining us today, we do 4 shows a week, including the Sunday Morning Quickie. So we go over all of the fantasy football news and give you some previews for our games. All right, guys, with that being said, may your glasses be full, your mugs stay frosty, and we will see you next time.